Liberation Day. Guys, I like it. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I like it a lot. I think it makes a whole lot of sense. Maybe too much sense, guys. Imagine, right? If you are charging me for something, why am I not charging you for things, guys? It doesn't make any sense. You think you can charge me consistently and I keep doing things out of the goodness of my heart, to the detriment of my country? Guys, my countrymen? No, guys. All right? We need to fix all of this. Now, is it going to be hard? Yes, it's definitely going to be hard. Like, there's no doubt here, guys. I mean, we are entering into a global trade war. Initially, we've all been basically talking about kind of slightly, let's say, in the background, WW3 occurring. I think WW3 is about to occur right now through trade. The whole world is going to come at us. They are, because they exist almost exclusively to fund, products, let's say, to the United States of America. There are a lot of countries that do that. They want our market. We are a gigantic consumer base. They need our market to survive. Some countries, at least, guys. So they're going to be angry. Absolutely. Their countries are going to feel it, but so is ours. Like, do not under any circumstance think for a second that we're not going to see nothing from this. Example. So if Trump does actually find a way to utilize the tariff system, let's say to fund like an external revenue service, I'm not sure we're going to see much benefit of that on a personal level. The government's going to see a massive, I would expect, benefit until the actual national debt is brought down tremendously. If that's the case, then I can imagine we'll start to see some actual benefits here. But until then, that's going to be a while. Okay, that's going to be a long while. It took us a very long time to rack up the national debt that we have. And to be honest, every country needs to run in some type of debt-oriented scenario, let's say. All right? But either way, let's go and jump into this immediately, see where this takes us, guys. Trump's tariffs. What just happened? This is a suggestion via a channel member, guys. Here we go.
To give you a sense of what we know so far about this, there's still a few unanswered questions, but finally we got the detail on what Donald Trump meant by this Liberation Day. And let me just kind of start by showing you these bars are how high those tariffs, the US tariffs, are on various different countries around the world at the moment, or rather before Donald Trump came into office, and a quick kind of bit of revision on where we've come from so far. So threatened tariffs on Mexico and Canada. They were repeatedly threatened, repeatedly rescinded or lifted, but they might well be back again.
Land on?
Who knows? But for the time being, they're gone. Okay. We know we got an extra 10% tariffs on China, China 1.0, then another
that makes all the sense
extra
in the world.
10% tariffs on China 2.0, you might call them.
Guys, China, because they're skirting the law, right? Like, so they obviously know tariffs are coming. So what are they doing? They're starting to basically build gigantic factories in Cambodia, pushing things to Vietnam, Taiwan, etc., to basically skirt, let's say, the tariffs, right? Now, when it comes to Canada being this low, I actually like the idea of this, specifically Canada. They fund a lot of gas. And if you guys know how things are when gas prices start to rise in the United States of America, everyone starts pointing fingers. So it definitely means a lot, let's say, that Canada is this low. Mexico specifically, we're talking about food prices most likely are going to go up slightly, guys. Food prices along with cars, right? But if we can, continue to get steel, let's say, in at least small amounts, let's say from Canada, that's fine, guys. But Mexico, this is food. Canada is like gas and steel and things like that, guys. But mostly food and cars from Mexico. Let's continue.
We're now kind of waiting to find out what happened next, and we finally did find it out. Let's just start. There are two parts to this, okay? So first of all, there is going to be a 10% baseline tariff. So you see all of these bars go up by 10%, including, of course, the UK. But that, as far as the White House is concerned, is just a baseline. And then on top of that, there are different tariffs for different nations, what they call reciprocal tariffs. And they say they've gone through the numbers. They've looked at not just the tariffs that other countries around the world are charging the US, but also what they call non-tariff barriers, so other things. And they've worked out, by the way, Canada, those Mexico-Canada tariffs might well come back, so we might well start from that position. But reciprocal tariffs might push all of these bars, or will push all of these bars up considerably higher. So just look at how the picture of trade and tariffs in the US has changed dramatically as a result of these measures which are coming in the next few days. And just to give you a few highlights of what we're talking about. So you could look, for instance, over there at China. So China, that's a 34% reciprocal tariff.
Yeah, that's
but
mandatory,
it takes
bro.
the total amount, provided that goes on top of the existing tariff.
Right.
It takes the total amount up above 50%. And you're talking, you know, when tariffs are going above 50%, that makes any trade very, very difficult.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And far less likely to happen. So that's China, but you can probably see here, Vietnam as well. And the point here from the White House has been to say, listen, lots of Chinese goods going into the US, but also going through, being Vietnam and Cambodia as well, being conduits for goods to go to America. And the point here from Donald Trump...
Guys, just go ahead and put 100% on Cambodia, bro. Just go ahead and do that. Because, listen, I don't see Cambodia on this list. I'm guessing they're on some other list or something, but trust me, guys, we've seen now multiple videos on this channel here kind of regarding what China is doing in Cambodia. So I get it. You want to put a tariff on China, then obviously Vietnam is a mandatory thing, guys. But where is Cambodia? Because everyone is about to start pushing through Cambodia. So
being conduits,
they're building gigantic factories out there.
America, and the point here from Donald Trump is that the US wants to reindustrialize, and so it's all about trying to make things domestically. But finally, look at the UK. 10% on the UK, and for many people here, obviously, it is a big increase on where things were before, only a few percent, the average rate for the UK, but that goes up to 10%. It is the best rate that anyone has amongst any nations. In fact, the best rate that any G7, any leading economy in the world has, and certainly better than the EU, all of whom are having to pay an extra 20% in total, so 10%, another 10% on top. But even so, all of this will potentially diminish the amount of trade going on around the world and diminish the amount of stuff going into the US. And finally, it's worth just saying, what was the stock market reaction? Well, this decision was made after markets had closed, but we can look at the futures market. This is the NASDAQ futures market, and look at what happened. It went up a little bit after the announcement, and then it's come down quite considerably. So a market reaction there, which implies that when markets open in Asia, and indeed when they were open across the US and Europe, we're going to see some falls to come as people respond to this.
100%.
Ed, take a seat. I've got another question for you. There is more coming out of the White House right now, senior White House officials, etc. Trump is to sign an order that closes the de minimis loophole. This is according to an aide. Tell us why that is significant and how it might affect a nation like China, for example.
So this is on top of all of those things we were showing you. De minimis basically means that for really small, kind of low-value items that are going in and out of countries, a lot of that stuff just isn't charged a tariff. So what is a tariff ultimately? It is just, you know, we're going to charge you 20% on everything that comes into the country, although it's the recipient that actually pays it. But for fast fashion, for items that are going in that are relatively cheap, and this is a big thing for China. You know, you've got companies like Shein who are sending stuff relatively cheaply from Guangdong and different parts of China. Right now, that's not subject to any tariffs.
It's not going to be.
Donald Trump said earlier on, so when he had one of his early kind of, we're going to impose tariffs on China, he said, we're getting rid of de minimis. But then what happened was that suddenly, in airports around the US, you were seeing massive big piles of goods that no one was quite sure what to do with, because it's an enormous administrative challenge. And
guys, you also have to hire a gigantic amount of people specifically just to go through everything, value, and then add a tariff on top of it. I'm telling you, it would slow down every single... the money that we would have to basically spend to hire multiple people exclusively just to do that is not going to outweigh it. So you might as well just go ahead and bypass on the things that are like $1. All right, just bypass it. Okay, put a limit. Like, listen, hey, if you're sending $1 million or something, yeah, we're tariffing that. But if you are sending items that cost like $1, oh God. Guys, come on.
Of goods that no one was quite sure what to do with, because it's an enormous administrative challenge. And I think that, Anna, is the bigger issue here. Raising all of these tariffs, different tariffs on different countries, and a kind of extraordinary smorgasbord of different numbers we've just seen, and Donald Trump, you know, held up this chart of all of different numbers. it is likely to just increase the amount of work that it takes for America to collect these tariffs. But the point that Donald Trump wants to make, can I show one more chart, like as a bonus
See
thing?
what we got here.
But the point that Donald Trump wants to make is that back in a long time ago, the majority of federal revenues came from tariffs, raising money from tariffs, and right now that line is basically down, close to zero, kind of only a few percent. And his point is always, rather than raising money through income tax, couldn't we raise it again through tariffs? And I'll spare you the next charts, but point out that ultimately that is really, really tough to do. It's really tough in the modern world of 2025 when you have, welfare states, when you have Medicare, when you have, standing armies that are quite expensive. You can't just raise all of your money through tariffs. No one has been able to do that. And so that is the challenge that he's faced with right now. But what he wants to do is to be able to say, we're going to try and reindustrialize, hence all of those tariffs on China, on Vietnam, on Cambodia, and we're going to try and raise a bit of money from it in the process. And I think that's the selling point. But what comes next is the retaliation. We start to hear from, Europe, and we know they're going to retaliate. What comes next is more market reaction. And this is going to roll and roll. Even though we've got detail tonight, we're going to be talking about this for many weeks and months.
Right. Okay, guys. Okay, we're here. I'm trying to look at like what would I do if I was in the scenario of like running a government and doing these things? I probably would do like exactly the same thing, right? But I'm also just a massive cynic here. I believe, and I believed, let's say, that no matter who took office, there was going to be some type of manufactured crisis to bring the stock market down, and for everyone to basically jump in pretty hard, like the uber rich, to jump into things that factually are just going to go up no matter what. Like once this is done, these things are going to go up, right? So I know that there's going to be a lot of money made in the stock market during this time, and I'm just on that camp. I'm a cynic, bro. Okay, I'm already pretty heavy in the stock market, so guys. The stock market is really low. It's unnecessarily low. Tesla's really low. It's going to go back up. People have a short memory, bro. Right? And so like everything is just being set up for people to make a gigantic amount of money. But also at the same time, guys, if you look at the chart started to basically completely flatline from like about 1945, 44 or so, 42. Obviously that was during WW2. I guess after the kerfuffle, let's say, was done, they never actually went back to doing business as usual, right? They were just like, you know what? Hold on, we can make money from taking money from the citizenry. I'm guessing this was like some type of benefit from the allies. I don't know, guys. It's interesting. Okay, it's interesting. But we definitely should have went back to at least a good like half and half type of system, at least to kind of bring in some money back after spending all of this money during WW2. That's the reality, I think, personally. We should have definitely done that. Now, when it comes to the tariffs, again, it's going to definitely affect many, many people, right? Many, many, many people. Guys, the average American is not making six figures, guys. So they're not going to be able to maintain or sustain themselves, honestly, even throughout some of the tariffs, specifically if, when, let's say, these other countries retaliate. And if they retaliate, we're just going to retaliate again. It's just going to go back and forth and forth and forth until the stock market basically crashes, and then all the super rich people buy, Berkshire Hathaway A for $3. Okay, and if you know, you know on that one right there, bro. Okay, that's what it looks like, bro. I'm sorry, I'm a cynic, because Berkshire is going to go right back up to six figures, and they're going to buy it for $3. But either way, guys, that's the game that in my head, at least. Every time I hear these things, every single time a president gets elected, gets into office, there's always some type of manufactured crisis that tanks the stock market temporarily. All the super rich people move out of their assets into some type of liquidity, and then what happens, bro? They all get richer. The rich get richer, bro. That's it. That's all this is, guys. In my head, at least. I could be wrong here, but look at history. But either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'll catch you guys later.